everyone. Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about electoral reform, one part of the electoral reform. I think I'm going to be doing more of this, really taking in one thing or the other that I think about the electoral reform should be changed. So get ready to hear more about what are the things that we need in the electoral reform. One of the things about democracy, they say democracy, the price you pay for democracy is eternal vigilance. And I think it was Jefferson that had said that, a former long dead president of the United States of America, Thomas Jefferson. And so what then that means is that you don't just vote and go home and sleep. You don't just, we've done one electoral reform, it's okay. Like I've seen a lot of people who are saying that, we've done an electoral reform before. Why do you need to do another electoral reform? You need to constantly do electoral reform. Because one thing comes up, you change it. That is what law is all about. Law is dynamic. It's not static. As you go on, certain things get changed and you have to keep on moving in that manner. And so for me, one of the things I think we should have in the electoral act, in the electoral reform, I don't know whether it also needs a constitutional change, but we need to get to a position where the courts can no longer declare outrightly who is winner of election. What the court should declare is whether the election was free, fair, credible, was done in the process that it should be, and should go ahead and whatever it is that INEC had declared is, or they should be able to say, or they should be able to say, no, the election did not follow what it's supposed to do. And so in that manner, there should be two remedies. One will be that let there be a recount of the whole total votes of the election. Let INEC bring in all the ballot papers. Ballot papers are kept. Ballot papers are not thrown away. Let INEC bring in these ballot papers, even if it's presidential election, even if it take 1 week, recount them manually. Let everybody sit wherever it is. If it's a collation center, bring it to the court, however they want to do it. You sit down and you count them and be sure that the votes that you counted were actually what was there. And if possible, master, they can even put a particular margin. There has to be a certain margin that it goes to automatic recount. Sit down, everybody sees it. This is what was counted. Or the other option would be for the court to say, no, the election did not follow, the way it's supposed to follow. It wasn't properly done. Let there go and be another election. You see the situation whereby some people sit down in one place, a few number of them, and then they are the ones who declare. They can override what millions of people voted for. It must stop. Because that's one thing that has been abused again and again. And that's why you see corrupt politicians will tell you go to court. They don't even need to do anything. Most of them, they will not even need to spend money during election. Don't do campaign. They will just keep their money together, use it to bribe either the INEC officials who are going to put out that result, either the ad hoc staff or the main staff or whatever, get themselves to have election result written for them, and then they will now say go to court. And then when you get to court, they are ahead of you, they are bribing judges and everything. And what you then have is that these judges just then sit down and they are writing whatever it is they are writing, and they are telling you go to court. That's why you sit down and you are hearing judges speaking. Judges are speaking as if whether they call themselves judges or justices now, I don't know. They are now speaking as if they are counsel to the defendants that have been brought in. So those are things that we actually need to start stopping all of this. And it's from the Electoral Act that you can get this. Whether there has to be a constitutional change or that, these are things that we need to begin, to look out for, because you must make election in a way that it is what the people voted for. Until and unless Nigeria gets to a place where the mandate of the people truly counts, we can never get good governance. Because in everything in life, it's all about incentive. If people know that they don't do well, they will be removed. Guess what? They will do well. Not because they want to do well, because they like that seat and they don't want to remove. But if they know that even if they don't do well, that they can still keep themselves, there's no how you remove them. There's no incentive for them to do, the right thing. Even parties, we keep talking about, parties is the candidates that parties give out that we have. Yes, very, very much so. But guess what? When parties know that if they don't field the right candidates, that they will lose, guess what will happen? They will begin to field the right candidates. And I've said this thing before and I will say it again. There is no party in Nigeria that does not have good candidates. The only thing is that most of these parties, they don't allow the good candidates to emerge because they know that the good candidates, when they emerge, they're not going to allow corruption. They're not going to allow a lot of the things that they're doing. They're not going to allow the shenanigans that we're seeing right now that is not making Nigeria grow. And so for them, they would rather put in people who are either corrupt, people they can control, people they have one thing over or the other. And in that way, they keep them, to continue to do their biddings, to continue to do whatever it is that they want to do. So if we want a difference this day, we have to have a different approach. Another thing for me, apart from the judiciary angle, is also on the issue of INEC. The burden of proof must begin to be on INEC. We cannot have a situation whereby INEC conducts election. INEC is giving this humongous amount of money to conduct election. That's the only thing they do. And at the end of the day, no matter how they conduct it, they are never brought to be accountable for their action. They are never brought to be. People will say that, oh, he who alleges must prove. No, that can't be the case in INEC because INEC is the one that is given the authority to conduct this election. So they must have the burden of proof on them. So when people say, INEC, you did not conduct the election the way it was supposed to be conducted. There were corruption here, there were this thing here, there were, either the way the process in which the election was done was not properly done, then what INEC needs to do is INEC needs to come and show beyond reasonable doubt that indeed they conducted the election within the regulation, following the process as it should be followed. INEC, we have a situation whereby you even tell INEC to, the subpoena INEC, they won't bother. You tell INEC to bring in they don't even give you access to the material. They'll just be doing anyhow. That must not be. INEC must begin to pay when they don't conduct free, fair, credible election. INEC must begin to be on the hot seat. We cannot allow INEC to keep getting away currently the way they're doing right now, where it almost doesn't matter, no matter what they do, however they do it, they get away with it. These are conversations that we need to start having, and we need to start insisting on. And also the Electoral Act, electoral reform is actually going on. A lot of conversation is going on around this, and please be part of it. Be part of politics. Just take part in it in the way wherever part you'll be able to fit in very well, because at the end of the day, it is through politics you get the people that are going to govern you. And if you don't put in the right people to govern you, you say this bad governance we are seeing, it will continue. It's not going to stop. If we like, pray from now till thy kingdom come. If we don't use what God has given us to solve the problem that we have, God is not going to do for us what he has given us capacity for us to do for ourselves. Thank you.